Everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of This Woman Can. Now, when I made my acquaintance with my next guest, I was absolutely blown away. And the bio I give you really is just a really short précis of what she's done and what she's achieved so far today in such a young age, I hasten to add. But it's fabulous to reconnect with, and really wanted to know more about Dr. Rachel Victoria Brown. So hi Rachel, and thank you for joining me at This Woman Can.
Hi, Janice. I'm so happy to be here.
So I promised people a little insight into your bio. So let me read a little snip of your bio. So
Sure.
Dr. Rachel Victoria Brown, to give her a full title, is a 29-year-old Jamaican philanthropist, activist, social media specialist, and communication strategist who recently earned a PhD in media communication and culture in Barcelona. Rachel is the co-founder and executive director of the Every Mikkle Foundation, located in Jamaica and Florida, which serves approximately 350 orphans and underprivileged youth annually from 6 children's homes. Their program focuses on mentorship, global citizenship, female empowerment, literacy, career development, sports, the performing arts, mental health, physical health and hygiene, academics, STEM, agriculture, and environmental sustainability. And not just that, she makes me exhausted just listening, just reading this. She's also the vice president of the Global United Diaspora. And in 2019, she was named one of the Caribbean's 30 under 30 for her work, service, and contributions to Jamaica. Oh, girl, you're not tired.
I'm exhausted.
So welcome. So
Thank
yeah, like I said, that was a very abbreviated bio for you, and I am ecstatic. That's ecstatic to make your acquaintance, Rachel. So
you.
tell the audience a little bit about your journey and how you got to where you are today.
Okay, so, woo, it's been such a long time, this whole journey. I'm about to be 30, and so I've been very reflective recently. Um, but basically, I was born and raised in Jamaica. Big up Jamaica every time. And I'm the oldest of 3 girls.
Okay.
And I think ever since I knew myself, I knew I wanted to discover more of the world. I always saw myself as a global citizen.
Right.
Things were a little bit tough at home at the time, and luckily I had some outlets, several outlets. I was playing sports, tennis, piano, swimming, dancing. Tennis, though, was one of my ways out. And I was able to receive a tennis scholarship to go to boarding school in Hudson, Ohio
Right.
at 16. And so I left Jamaica at 16 to go to school in the US. Did 2 years of boarding school there. Very interesting experience and just
Mm,
life changing, as you
yes.
can imagine, from
Yes.
Kingston, Jamaica to Hudson, Ohio. Woo!
Very different.
Big difference. And then I went on to the University of Southern California where I studied communication. I was also able to represent my school abroad. I studied in Argentina and I also studied in Bilbao, which was
Okay.
great. After that, I went on to law school at Wake Forest University in North Carolina, and that was an also interesting experience. Law school in the South, no Jamaicans, very antiquated views online. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to be as politically correct as possible.
Yes. Yes.
Um, and then after that, I started working in Atlanta at Atlanta Victims Assistance. So women's rights and domestic violence, those are issues that have always been very close to
Mhm.
my heart. So I've been doing a lot of work with that for as long as I have been able to work, basically. And after that, I moved to Kenya to work on a reparations case for the Mau Mau there, which was an incredible and also life changing experience. Moved back to Atlanta, decided I wanted to go on to do my PhD. I always knew
Mm.
that was a plan. And I moved to Barcelona in October 2016.
Okay.
I'm still here. It's been 4 years, but I just finished my degree a few months ago, thank God. And yeah, that's been the journey in a nutshell. In 2013, we started Every Mikkle, and that's been beautiful. And we've just been growing and expanding and touching as many people and youth as possible. And in 2000, I want to say 50, no, 2017, we started Global United Diaspora. That's
Okay.
also been a very eye-opening experience and just an awesome opportunity to serve globally and with my people, for my people. And that's been great. So that's, that's been the journey.
Gosh. And didn't I read, because you've skirted, didn't I read that you've probably traveled to more countries than you've had years of living?
Yes, so my goal is always to have gone to as many countries as my age. I
Okay.
am now at 31 countries. So I'm 2 years ahead, technically.
Ah,
And I'm hoping, it was a nice cushion with COVID because I wasn't able to
yes,
travel
yes.
this year. But I'm at 31 now. I'm going to be 30 in December. And so, yeah, right on track.
Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. So you've got Every Mickle, you've got United Diaspora, you've done your PhD. What have been the key motivators for your career choice, Rachel?
Um, so it's several things. It's this idea of purpose and wanting to ensure that my life is not lived in vain, that I'm here for a reason and that the world is better off somehow, even if it's in a small way,
Yeah.
because I am here. I don't want to waste time and I don't want to waste life. I value life very much. I've had several unfortunate near death experiences, and so that's been, a
Yeah.
wake up call consistently. So I'm very much more aware of mortality, I think, than most people.
Hmm.
Um, so there's that. Also, my family and the values that they've instilled in me, and just wanting to make them proud with
Yeah.
all my heart. And I think God also is an important factor in that, just wanting to honor Him in what I do. And then also my love and passion for youth and young people, and understanding that they're looking to us for examples, they're looking to us for guidance,
Yeah.
and they're looking to us to show them what they're capable of doing.
Hmm.
And so
Hmm.
I don't want to shorten
Yeah.
any kind of capacity or ability for anybody. I want them to know that their potential is limitless. And
Yeah.
I also want them to be able to achieve even more than I have. And
Yes.
so to
Yeah.
me, I think it's a responsibility to them, to the future, to my family, to myself, as a global citizen, as a Jamaican. Yeah, that's it in a nutshell,
Fabulous.
I think.
Fabulous. And I love what you said about the youth and being limitless, because I've just been facilitated a young women in leadership program for 45 young women here in Antigua and Barbuda, who have who could be our future political leaders. And
Yeah.
it's been, they've gone through, in fact, we're having a mock sitting in Parliament on a Monday. So it's been, and having this session with them on Friday, just this week, and listening to, I don't know, I think when I was that, I didn't have that thought process when I was that age. And
Yeah.
it was really refreshing to see that they're, I don't want to say lofty goals, but I think I felt they were really achievable goals, but goals I
Yeah.
would never have thought of when I was that age. So, and I think these days the youth, and I'm saying youth because yeah, I have to remember youth, um, are far more aware than I think anybody my generation was. Again, from a diaspora perspective, first generation, blah blah blah. We had, I suppose, different focuses, but the
Yeah.
the youth of today, the young women and the young men of today, are far more switched on, and
Hmm.
it's really good to see, and being
Yeah,
proactive.
for sure, for sure. I think one thing that I've noticed is it also depends in a large part on exposure.
Yeah,
So I've seen both ends of the spectrum where there's some young people who think I could do anything. I could be prime
yeah,
minister, I could be president, I could invent the next or start a business at 15, or you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
And then I've seen other people a lot of the kids that we've worked with, for example, in children's homes who have no guidance,
Yes.
more or less, who have
Yeah.
no parents, who have no
Yeah.
family members to push and encourage them, say that their biggest dream in life would be to work at Burger King because they could eat burgers for
Right.
free,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And not to say there's anything wrong with Burger King, but to think that that's the maximum
Limits.
you could ever
Yes. Yes.
achieve or
Yeah.
obtain. Not that you want to, it's just you think that that's the highest
Yeah.
goal.
Yeah.
Think
Yeah.
university is not a possibility. It's not for somebody like me. It's not for
Yeah.
how would I get there? How would I pay for, you know what I mean? I
Yes.
think so
Yes.
exposure, it plays such a huge part, and I'm so happy to hear that those girls in Antigua are thinking like that. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Rachel, you touched on facing some challenges in
Yes.
life. So, and I'm not going to go into what those challenges were, but I'm really more interested in what's your thought process and how you overcome them and the lessons learned and the contribution it made to your ongoing success.
Right. So wow. So many lessons I feel like I'm continuing to learn every single day,
Yeah.
just something new, which I think is important as
Yes.
well. Like if you're not getting better, what's the point? Um, one thing I think is many times in life, people are not going to be able to give to you what you will give to them.
Right.
So it's not healthy, and it's not reasonable, and it's not logical to expect from people what you expect of yourself.
Yeah.
That's a lesson that
Yeah.
I've had to learn, unfortunately, several times the hard way. Because that's how you get disappointed, right? You know,
Mm,
you're expecting
mm.
this from someone automatically
Yeah.
because if
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
that position, then I would, and it's just not the same. So I think that's one of the toughest lessons. The second lesson I think is faith is important, family is important, and also yourself is important.
Yeah.
So I'm a Christian, of course. I read the Bible and I'm into Bible verses, but I analyze them in a very different way than most people. I think so. There's this verse that says, love others the way you love yourself,
Mhm.
basically.
Mhm.
Um, and so from that verse, what I learned is it says the way you love yourself, basically. That's the key. That's the example for how you love everybody else. When people look at that verse, they think love others.
Yeah.
That's the message of the verse, but it's the way you love yourself. That's the first and most important part of it. That's the way. That's the precedent. That's what sets the tone
Yeah.
for love for everyone else. And I think I've had a really difficult journey with self love because I'm constantly pouring out
Given.
love to other people
Yeah.
and neglecting
Yeah.
myself. So, one thing that I've been working on, still am working on, is showing myself the
Yeah.
love, the same love that I not only deserve, but show
Absolutely.
other people. Um,
Absolutely.
so that's another thing. Another thing I've learned is to analyze your flock. That's something I always say. Birds of a feather flock together. Look at your flock.
Yeah.
Who are you hanging out? Is that who you want to be?
Yeah.
Um, that's something that's important, and I can say my flock has changed
Yes. Yes.
many times over the year. And there's some, loyal birds that will be there, I'm sure, till the very end of time. But that's also been another lesson. And the last one is your mind is a very powerful thing. And just like how it can work against you, and I think we need to be a lot more lenient and considerate to people facing mental health issues. I face
Yeah.
mental health
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah.
Um, but sometimes it's it's a decision in a split second that can change everything. Not even sometimes, probably all the time, right? There have been moments where I recognized I could just give up and that would be it. It would be done. And it's understanding and being conscious of the fact that you have to decide whether or not you're strong enough to
Yes.
get back up at that moment.
Yeah.
You decide you will.
Yeah.
That's it. It's as
Yeah.
simple as that. It's
Yeah.
as simple as that. Are you going to get back up, or are you going to stay down?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fine if you need to take a day or a week or a month or a year, or but decide in
Yeah.
that split second and fight for yourself. You deserve that, you
Yeah.
know? So yeah, those are some.
I love
Go
that.
ahead.
It's about having that growth and that positive mindset. As I said to you just before we started, I was cycling today, and I have another girl that I ride with sometimes on the weekend. We have a group, and she
Mm-hmm.
already decides every time it gets to a hill, she tells herself she can't do it. And like, you've
Mm,
already told yourself you can't do it. Drop your gears, just focus. And after she did it, she said, I just looked at the road, not what was ahead of me. And I'm like, exactly. Just deal with what's in front of you right now, what's
right.
not ahead, just to get, that's the first step. You can tackle what's down the road later on, but just know that you can do it is the first, is it really is the first step. So
Exactly.
I love you thought if you think about that. And I am huge on self-care. Huge,
Mm-hmm.
huge, 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 huge on self-care.
Yeah.
And I really, if one thing any listeners, when we take away from this, is just listen to what Rachel said about being able to put yourself first
Yeah.
sometimes, and recognizing that if you don't look after yourself, then you can't be of service to others.
You can't. You really can't. You might be able to, just not as well as you
Yes,
could if you were
yes,
taking care of yourself.
absolutely.
And I think that's another another lesson that I've learned along the way. It's like you're giving, you get burnt out.
Yes.
What do you do then? There's nothing left to give. And if that's something that defines you, right? If that purpose is
Mm,
something that you need, then where does that leave you? It's just
absolutely,
terrible.
absolutely, absolutely.
But self
So,
care, yes.
so I love that. So I want to touch on your career journey a little
Mhm.
bit. So
Sure.
you've done lots. You've done lots.
Yeah.
But what would you say if you had to pin it down? What would you say has been your biggest career triumph?
Hmm.
And I say right now because I know you've got a lot ahead of you.
Right. Yeah. I think I'm about to switch career paths. I have no idea what's coming up next. Biggest career triumph. That's a tough one. I think the reparations case was a huge one for me. As a Black woman,
Yeah.
and when we speak about slavery and colonization and capturing land, and it seems so far away, like
Yes.
ancient history, but to have sat there with people who were tortured by the British, to have listened to their stories, people who were actually there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Not 300,
Yeah.
400 years ago, like to have sat there and hear what the soldiers did to them and
Yeah.
all of that stuff, and to have had the opportunity to fight on their behalf. I think that was just one of the most life defining moments for me
Yeah.
in terms of understanding of life and culture and history, the impact that actions can have on
Yeah.
people and on a mindset
Yeah.
and on a mentality and all of that. So I think that was one, being able to be a part of that. And another one was our recent, so Every Mikkle expanded recently. We had a youth entrepreneurial workshop in October. We selected 20 youth from each of the 6 different countries which we served.
Mm.
So it was Jamaica, Trinidad, the US, the UK, Ghana, and Kenya. And the purpose was to empower them, enable them to know that they can start their own businesses and companies, that they're capable. They were between the ages of 14 and 22. So
Nice.
very young
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
So to have that seed planted at that age, amazing. And not only that, but for the pitch competition portion of it, we put them into groups of 12, 2 people from each country. Of course, they're meeting each other for the
Yeah.
first time. And you can imagine at that age meeting someone from
Yeah.
Kenya,
Yeah.
Ghana. It's
Yeah.
like, whoo, the whole world has opened up for them. And then to hear their pitches and see the quality of what they were able to produce,
Yeah.
um, it wasn't so much as a personal triumph, but it kind of restored all hope and faith in
Mm-hmm.
the future. and in humanity, because I said, look at our people, look at our young people. They're all youth of color
Yeah.
from different backgrounds, never met each other before. In a week, they came up with spectacular ideas. And what's been even more beautiful is to see that they're now working on bringing them to
Wow.
fruition.
Right.
So they
Right.
have investors now
Yeah.
who are working with them, and these brilliant ideas are coming to life. And they're from all over the world, still in contact, Zoom calls all day. But I think that was one of, I think, the most powerful things that I've ever been a part of. And the most beautiful things, not just because of what it is, but because of what I'm certain it will be and
Right.
what I'm
Right.
certain it will produce.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Thank you, thank you. Now, you've been very successful, very successful, very successful today, from what I can see. That's my interpretation.
Right.
And when people look at success, they think, they've had it all, or they've never experienced failure. But in my experience, the most successful people have grown out of failure.
Right.
So, can you share with us, Rachel, where failure has made a positive difference in your life?
Hmm. Definitely. Um, so one thing that I've learned to do is to be grateful for negative experiences. Once again, it's in your mindset, how you look at things. Anyone who knows me knows I've been through a lot that most people should never have to go through.
Mm,
And I think the reason I'm grateful for the hardships and for the pain and for the heartbreaks and the disappointments is because not only has it made me stronger in a sense, as cliche as that sounds,
mm,
but it has also humbled me, which I think is important. It has allowed me to get to a point where I understand when I need help and I'm not as afraid to ask for it.
excellent. Yeah.
And also, I've been able to learn from those experiences and not make those same mistakes
Yeah.
again and help people who might make those mistakes. And I think finally, the last part, the best part of all the failures has been the increase in empathy within me. So I'm generally very empathetic. I consider
Yeah.
myself an empath. I'm very sensitive to people, but there's a difference when someone's talking to you about what they're going through and you're listening as an outsider versus when you've been through something similar
Yeah.
and you can feel it and you know what they might be feeling
Mm,
and what they might be experiencing. It's so much easier to be there for them. And I think that has helped me tremendously in my work because I'm helping a lot of
yeah.
people who've been through similar things to what I've been through. And so I think that's been good. Um, and yeah, failure, I think it's a part of life. I
Yes.
also think it's important for us to learn to trust the process, trust fate, trust destiny, and understand that a lot of times the reason we don't succeed at certain things is because God has something bigger and better
Yeah.
and way beyond anything we could have ever imagined
Yeah.
in store. And so, yeah, that,
So,
that's been
trust the
my
process.
experience with that.
Fantastic. So, Rachel, if you had to start over from scratch, knowing what you know now, what would, I heard the, what would you
Woo!
do? What would you do differently?
Oh Lord, help. It's such a tough question because, knowing what you know now, you could have avoided everything.
Yeah.
But if I hadn't experienced everything that I have,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be who I am today. And I'm extremely proud of who I am today. And I love who I am today. I'm very far from perfect. But as I said, I'm grateful for all the good things and all the bad things. Um, one practical thing I think I would have done is probably saved more.
Right.
That's
Okay.
probably
Okay. Okay.
that's probably one very practical thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would have saved more, but yeah, other than that, no regrets. Give me
Excellent.
all the crazy and trauma again. But But yeah, I think that's it.
Fantastic. So you would have faced lots of different challenges, lots of different new experiences. But one of the things, and again, I picked this up with the young girls I was dealing with this week, was confidence. Is having the confidence to face something new, to approach something. So how do you navigate confidence issues? And I say issues because we're never 100% confident. But when it hits you or you have a little wobble, how do you navigate that and get out of that cycle?
Man, can I tell you, I struggle with that, and no one ever really believes me when I say that, because I come across as very confident. But, and I'll, of course, say this because I think maybe it can help somebody out there. I struggle with very bad anxiety and depression, and that affects my confidence. I'm on medication for both of those things, and nobody ever is like, "What?" That's usually the reaction. But that's my reality, and I think there needs to be a decrease in the stigma attached to that. So that more people can get the help that they need. It's just like a physical ailment. Like, we need to really, you know what I mean? Get over. And it's difficult. It's difficult living with that. With my anxiety now, it affects my confidence. Because sometimes I can't be around people. Like I just can't handle it. And sometimes I have to. When I don't really want to. And I say, for confidence. So for me, it's my mom and my dad. I call one of them, or and they'll be there. They'll pray for me, or they'll boost me up. Last night I had a panel, and I said to them, Mom, I'm messaging her while I'm on a panel. I feel like I don't belong here.
Oh my goodness, imposter syndrome hitting you.
Listen, I have it bad, because I'm like, why? Oh my God, let me just fake it till I make it. Like, I shouldn't be that way, but I am insecure sometimes. I have very low self-confidence sometimes. Sometimes I just want to be by myself and I can't. So for me, it's my mom and my dad. And then also, I think it's understanding that this whole thing, everything that I'm a part of, is bigger than I am.
Yeah.
Right? It's bigger than me. It's not about me.
Yeah.
It's not. Right? And so I think having that sense of responsibility strengthens me in a sense. It's like a mom, and when she has a newborn child and that child is crying and she wants to sleep, right? You've been through it. I haven't been through it yet. But I can only imagine. You want to sleep, the child is crying, like, just go to sleep, I'll sleep, you sleep, everything. But she can't do that because it's not about you. You have a responsibility to your child. You have to get up and move it. And so I think that's part of what keeps me going and what strengthens me.
And thank you for being so transparent on that. I think we need to talk about it more. I said to you, I was doing a series of videos, and I've been doing coming to the end of the year and stuff like that, and planning. And I started talking to women about planning, and I thought, it's not the planning that's the challenge, actually physically devising the plan. It's how you feel executing the plan is the challenge. So from all the lack of confidence, from all the imposter syndrome, the perfectionism, the limiting beliefs, the self-doubt. So I found out, I think I've got a series of 16 videos that deal with each one of those things. The more I kept thinking about it, the more the challenges that I came up with. But like you say, once you can identify it, you have your mechanism, your coping mechanisms, you ring your parents and stuff like that to enable. And the whole goal is to recognize what it is and know where I can go or where you can go to help you overcome them. Something we're always dealing with. I talked to you about my third eye today, and I was thinking, how can I go on camera? And that's perfectionism. That's the a little bit of perfectionism coming. But like you say, I want to get your message. I want to hear from you and who you are. So had to be here today. That's nothing compared to what I'm getting back from you
I'm
today.
happy you're here and you look beautiful. Girl, come on.
Thank you. So, Rachel, what are some strategies do you think that can help women achieve more prominence in their careers and what they do?
Woo. All right. Wow, it's a tough question because there's so many things. The first thing I'm going to touch on is ensuring that when you do get to that level, you open the door behind you.
Absolutely.
Okay. That's the first thing that I'm going to touch on. I think we're unnecessarily competitive with each other because we've been made to feel as if there are limited spots at the top.
Yes.
And because, well, they don't really hire women, and if I make it, then I have to be the woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it could be all women, just like it's been all men for.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Men never feel that way, or rarely feel that way, where there's limited spots for males, so I can't apply to this job. I think we miss out on a lot of opportunities because we don't try to obtain them. We think they're so far out of reach that we don't even attempt to get there. And there's that quote, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yes.
So what I would say to women is try. It seems lofty, it seems out of reach, it seems crazy. Try it. And if you fail, then you know what not to do next time.
Yeah.
Or it wasn't meant for you, or something better could be along the way, right?
Yeah.
Just try. What I think is really sad is this sense of defeat before we've even been actually defeated, and I really want us to get over that. As difficult as it will be, I think that's something that we really need to work on, and I'm working on it because I feel that way sometimes. Like I can't. Why you were talking about imposter syndrome? Like why am I here? I can't do that. Like no, they're gonna. No, just try. Just try. If you get a no, then it's a no. I think another thing is speaking up, right? Being an advocate for yourself.
Yes.
It's a great time to be a woman and to be outspoken right now. A much better time than it was 10 years ago.
Trust me.
Or 20 years ago. Right? Now we're starting to get to the point where we're able to hold people accountable for their actions and for their downfalls, for their discrimination. So speak up. Don't be afraid. And chances are, if you are facing something, other women are too. So understand that it's not just about you, right? Everyone, I think, and it's the same issue that we have with a lot of movements. And, this is my area, so I'm very sensitive when it comes to this. We've been a generation waiting for leadership, right? Waiting for the Moses, waiting for the Martin or the Marcus or the Malcolm or, the Curtis. You know what I'm saying? The woman, all the women.
Yeah.
It could be you. It should be you. There's no reason why it shouldn't be. Everyone's waiting for someone.
Yeah.
Don't wait anymore.
Oh, we could talk for
Just step up.
We could. I have so many views on that, and I love the fact you said about we think it's on our own, because I keep telling people. I often say to women, "You're not that special." To my client, and they go, "What do you mean?" I'm like, because you believe you suffer what I call me, myself, and I syndrome. You think you're the only person experiencing this, going through this, and and because we don't talk, because we think there's only one room at the top, because we think there's competition, because we've been told that you can be the only one, and we fear losing that spot. We don't share, and the fact about advocacy and all that, I absolutely love. You already preached to the converted here. So I love that I got you in my corner. Thank you very much.
Of course, always
it's so important for young women to hear that from another young woman, because they could look at me and go, "But Janice, come on, man, you've done your career. How old are you?" But to hear it someone from your generation, who's already is going through it, to know that it is possible. It's really powerful. And I love the bit when you talk about everyone's looking for a leader. And all the leaders you named were male.
Male. I dropped in the Coretta Scott at the end, and I'm
Oh,
like,
oh,
oh no,
yeah.
let me think about some more females. There's Angie, you know what I'm saying? But that's who we've seen. And
Yes,
it's
yes.
unfortunate because it's not that women haven't been there in
Absolutely,
history.
absolutely. Always been
Women
at the
like
back.
the Black Panthers,
Yeah,
it was us.
yes, yes,
You know,
yeah,
they're the ones that have been given the credit, unfortunately.
yeah,
So,
yeah. And they
you
always
know,
say behind every great man, that's true. It's true. It's true. Why can we find every great woman? Come on.
yes, if you know Caribbean women, you know, you really know how it goes. He's at the front, back, center, middle, everywhere.
Absolutely, absolutely,
Everywhere.
absolutely.
But yeah, definitely. It's so
Fantastic.
true.
So
And
Rachel, share with us a success quote or a mantra that you use and why it's meaningful for you.
wow. Wow. Okay. So one that I started saying came from an epitome. Okay. And it's it sounds like a bit, strange, but it is what it is, right? So my mantra is all I can do is all I can do. That's it. It's as simple as that.
Yeah,
All I can do is all I can do.
yeah.
And so I'm trying to do all I can do and be okay with that because I'm extremely hard on myself.
Mm,
And I consistently and constantly feel like I'm not enough. Right. And so for me to say these things over and over again, it's giving myself permission to be gentle with myself, to be understanding, and to be accepting of who I am and
yeah,
what I can do, what I'm capable of. And that's a huge weight off of my shoulders.
excellent.
Because literally, you can't do no more.
Mm,
What else could you do?
mm,
Nothing. If that's what you can do,
exactly.
that's
Exactly.
it.
And not beat yourself up about it because you believe you should be doing more. But if you can't physically, mentally, emotionally, you've done everything you possibly can. That's the
That's it.
best you can do. And
It's
we
the
have
best.
to be more accepting of that.
Hmm,
So
exactly.
yeah, I love that. All you can do is all you can do.
Exactly.
Okay, I
So
love
that's my little personal one. And then I have some other mantras that I say, and I have them at my door. I'm healthy. I'm happy. I am worthy. I am capable. I am loved. I am whole. Those are my main affirmations that I need.
it. Nice. I love
But
that. I love that.
yeah.
So coming down to our last few questions. But I know I've got a few years on you yet, but I'm going to ask you this question anyway.
Okay.
Rachel, what advice would you give to your teenage self?
Ooh. Ooh. Wow. Oh man, what advice would I give to my teenage self? That's a really hard one, and something that I haven't reflected on enough, I think. So Facebook memories. I'm not on social
Yes.
media at the moment, but I used to love the Facebook memories because I'd see what I would write at that age.
Okay.
And in my teenage years, my mind, everything, I just sounded so wise. I was like, okay, okay, yes, young Rach, come through, give me the knowledge. Like, this is wonderful. Um, the advice I'd give to my younger self is worry less. Worry less. One, two, take your time. You don't have to rush.
Yeah.
Three, things will get worse, but then they'll get better.
Excellent. Nice.
Things will
Nice.
get worse, but then they'll get better,
That's nice.
right? Um, Four, you don't have to be perfect. You never will be perfect, and
Hmm.
that's okay.
Hmm.
Um, And then lastly, don't be as hard on yourself as you are, because you're going to make yourself proud one day. I think that's what I would say to my younger self, because I was extremely hard on myself and just going through so much and trying to manage so much and trying to be as great as possible and under pressure and not knowing what was guaranteed versus not. And I have to achieve everything by 25 or else I'm going to fail.
Gosh,
Yeah.
I
It
can
was
feel the
like,
pressure on yourself already.
right? I was an intense I'm still an intense person, but that was the vibes. Imagine my poor parents
Yeah.
having to deal with that.
Special
Just
parents.
super special. Had to be them. There,
Yeah.
it couldn't be anybody else. um, but yeah, I think that's the advice I'd give to my younger self. Just
Okay.
don't worry as much. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
It's gonna get worse, then it will get better, right? And you're gonna do great.
And you
You're gonna do-
are. And you are.
I'm trying my best.
You said you are. You are. You are. So,
Yeah.
so Rachel, if you could choose your own mentor, or if you could choose a mentor, who would it be and why?
Oh, like a living mentor. Mm,
Well, they could
yeah,
be. They
because
could. They
I'm
could.
like,
They could be. They could be.
summon all the ghosts
It
of
could
the.
be dead or alive. But who would it be? Who would it be, and why would you choose them?
All right. So if I could choose a dead mentor, it would probably be Nanny of the Maroons. Like, how epic would that be? Nanny, who helped all the people escape from the plantations and
Yeah.
started the Maroon settlement. Like, I just want, how did you do it? How did you have the strength? Did you freak out sometimes? Like, were you stressed out? These are things we don't think about when we think about Nanny. But what was your regular life like? How did you balance, girl? I don't know. So her, and then living, I think it would have to be Angela Davis. I love her.
Okay.
I've spoken with her a few times. She actually helped me with my PhD, and she's just incredible. Um, I would say Angela Davis, and then another person. That's a tough one. I'd have to
Getting
think
greedy. You're
about
getting
it.
greedy now, and you wanted one.
Oh, okay. I'm like, I'm trying to. I'm like, there's so many, so
Yeah.
many I want to talk
You
to.
gave me two, and we'll get you dead or alive. That can work.
All
That
right,
can
cool.
work.
We'll work with that.
So, last couple of questions. What are the three things you've learned about yourself during your career?
Woo! Three things I've learned about myself during my career. Hmm. Wow. I think one is I'm a lot more like my parents and my grandparents than I ever thought possible. I grew up feeling like I was a strange person from a foreign, random alien land. But nope, nope. I'm just a combination of everybody. So that's one thing I've learned about myself. Another thing I've learned about myself is that I can be incredibly innovative. Um,
Mm.
and I can take any small thing, any problem, any challenge,
Yeah.
um, turn your hand and make fashion. That's what we say in Jamaica. I've learned that about myself. The problems can be turned into not just
Yeah.
solutions, but
Yeah.
even better
Yeah.
options. As we've seen with COVID and all this
Yes.
virtual stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's worked out somehow. So there's that. And then the third one, I don't know if I've learned it because I think I've known it my whole life, is that I'm a fighter and I'm here to fight for more than myself. I'm here to fight for my people. I'm here to make a difference. And so my purpose is just becoming clearer and clearer. And so that's still learning in progress. I don't know exactly what it is
Yeah.
yet, but I know I'm here to make a difference. And I know I'm here to fight, and that it's not going to be easy, but that I will do it. because I love my people, and I love the future already.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that. And yeah, I love that. I'm not going to say any more on that because I feel it. I feel it.
Yes.
So where would we find you typically on a Saturday morning at 10 a.m.?
Saturday morning at 10 a.m. I'd probably be home. Right now, I don't really leave the house, to be honest.
Yeah.
I have so many virtual meetings, and then the anxiety thing, outside, COVID, etc. Saturday morning at 10 p.m., 10 a.m. I'm at home, either making brunch. I like brunch on Saturday. I like to
Okay.
cook. Or practicing yoga. I practice yoga every single day. Or I could be doing some work as
Uh,
usual. Terrible. I know it's not balanced, but that's how it is. Yeah.
okay. And then lastly, what does success feel like to you?
Mm. Success feels like knowing you made a difference to me. To me. Knowing, not wondering, not hoping, it's knowing. And when I get to that point, I think I'm gonna breathe a lot easier.
You don't think you've made a difference already?
I think I have. I think I have for sure. I just know there's so much more for me to do. So maybe that's the difference, Not just knowing you've made a difference, but knowing you've done enough. I've never in my life felt like I did enough. Ever. I hope I do one day. That would be great.
Wow. Well, I would if I think if you would speak to those around you and what you've done so far, they would surprise you with their answers. Because again, we are always hard on ourselves and we're always pushing ourselves for more because we spend so little time looking back at what we've achieved so far because we're always
Right.
looking forward. So I think a nice little exercise for you would be for you to hear the difference you've made because you have, I mean, just with Every Mikkle, I'm more than certain you've made a difference in so many young people's lives already. But you're so focused on what comes next that you're
Right.
not taking that time. You're doing this introspection for your 30th. Have a look
Yeah.
back at how many lives you've impacted, possibly impacted, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Yeah,
I hope
you're pleasantly
so. I
surprised. You
really
stop the hope. Stop the hope. You have. You
do.
have. So, so,
Thank
so,
you.
Dr. Rachel, if anybody wants to get in touch with you or know more about Every Mikkle or the United Global Diaspora, how can they
Global
do
United Diaspora. Yeah.
United
Global United
United
Diaspora. Or you
Diaspora?
could call
So,
it good. We call it good.
okay, good. So
Yes.
how can they do that?
Okay, so for Every Mickle, you can follow us on Instagram at Every Mickle JA, EveryMikkleJA, and on Facebook, the Every Mickle Foundation. And of course, you can check out our website. That's easy as well, www.everymicklefoundation.org. And then for good, you could follow us on Instagram at Global U Diaspora, GlobalUdiaspora. I was like, can I spell? Yes, I can. Great. And also globalgood.org, globalgd.org.
Excellent.
There's that. And then on the Every Mickle website, there's a contact Rachel button, sends it right to my email, which is perfect. So that's how you can get in touch with
Excellent. I'll be sure to put all the links in the notes as well so
you.
people have it. So that was my last question officially. It has been such fun interviewing you. We could have been here a lot longer,
Literally.
but I know about the time difference because Antigua, Barcelona, big time
Yes.
difference. So thank you so much for your time today, Rachel. It's been so
Thank
much
you.
appreciated. And I
Thank you so
know
much.
you there is some time that I come across. I said to my husband today, he's got to my side, that I love doing these interviews, but there are sometimes some interviews I know that are really special because there's something about the individual that the woman I'm going to interview that I'm feeling. I'm feeling. And you are one of those. You're one of those. So I know there's so much destined for you. And I'm going to keep a keen eye on you. This
I
eye.
know,
I'm
please
going to
do,
keep it.
Janice.
So thank you for being my guest today.
Thank you for having me. And I just want to say, I know you're accustomed to thanking everyone else. I want to thank you for doing the work that you do. It's powerful, it's inspirational, and it's also so necessary. So thank you for being that Coretta Scott, that Angie Davis, that for inspiring us, for being amazing, and for not just talking about it, but being about it. That means so much to all of us. Thank
Thank
you.
you.